The Mismatched Pair. They were born from a box of leftover beads, a pair of diamond stud, a white star missing its shine, a white heart bead too soft to fit into sharper designs, and a few glass beads that had never found their moment. Most makers would have tossed them aside, but she didn't. She looked at the scraps and saw a kind of magic, not in how they matched, but in how they didn't. She strung them together. One side became a trail of flower, heart, and soft purple glass. The other a mirrored echo, flower, star, and rainbow crystal. Not identical, but intentional. Not a mistake, a statement. She wore them out that evening, just a quick trip to the corner stall, and was surprised when someone said, "I love your earrings. They feel like a story." She smiled, because that's exactly what they were. A story of softness and strength, of odd pieces finally fitting, of a girl who decided she didn't need to match anyone, only to belong to herself. What she didn't know was that the earrings would find another listener, someone watching, someone quiet, someone who needed to remember what it felt like to be different and proud of it. And so, the story of the mismatched pair was only just beginning. Chapter 2: The Girl in the Corner Table. She was always there, tucked in the farthest seat of the cafe, hood up, book open, eyes always watching, but never meeting anyone else's. She didn't speak much, didn't need to. But that day, when the girl with the mismatched earrings walked in, her gaze lifted just for a moment. She didn't know why they pulled her in. Maybe it was the star, maybe the flower, maybe the fact that they didn't match, but somehow still made sense, just like her. The earrings glinted under the sunlight, streaming through the cafe window. They weren't loud, but they were alive, and something in her stirred. She reached up to touch her own ears, empty. Always had been. She didn't wear jewelry, didn't want to be noticed. But those earrings, they didn't demand attention. They simply spoke. "You don't need to be perfect to be beautiful," they seemed to whisper. "You don't need to match to belong." Days passed. She started sketching earrings in her notebook. Not pairs, but stories. One with a star, one with a teardrop, one with a broken shell, one with a button from her mother's coat. She didn't know it yet, but she was about to start creating again, for the first time since everything fell apart. One rainy evening, she returned to her usual table and found a tiny gift box resting there, tied with twine, no name. Inside, one silver flower, one crystal star, unfinished pieces, and a note that simply read, "Make your own story. I'll be listening." Chapter 3: The Musician on the Bridge. He played guitar at the old bridge every Saturday. Rain or shine, morning or midnight, the music was always there. Not for money, not for fame. He played because that's how he remembered his mother's laugh, and the sound of silence after a goodbye. People passed by, some dropped coins, some didn't, but he didn't look up. He just played. Until one day, a small cardboard box was left beside his case. No note, just a pair of earrings. One was shaped like a heart, the other a flower. Tiny crystal stars and clear glass drops shimmered in the corners. They were delicate, childlike, odd, and somehow perfect. He stared at them for a long time. Then, without a word, he clipped one to his guitar strap and the other to his hat. People noticed, but no one said a thing. The music changed that day. It wasn't louder, but it lingered. Like a memory someone forgot they still carried. Like light, warming the cracks of something broken. Someone asked him later, "Why do you wear those?" He smiled, strummed a soft chord, and replied, "Because someone made them, because someone trusted them with a story, and because mismatched things still belong somewhere." He didn't know where the earrings came from, but he knew where they were going. One day when the time was right, he'd leave them behind for someone else to find and write the next verse. Chapter 4. The circle closes for now. By now, no one really knew how many hands the earrings had passed through. Some wore them only once, some never took them off, some never wore them at all, just kept them near, like a secret they weren't ready to tell. And that was the magic. There were no rules, no right way to wear them, no wrong way to belong. One spring evening, as the sky was turning lavender, a woman in her 60s stood by the window of her tiny seaside home. She had found the earrings in a cracked ceramic bowl at a thrift shop, tucked between a button and a folded scrap of music. She wore one and placed the other on a wooden shelf beside a dried daisy. That night, she dreamed of every hand the earrings had passed through: the girl in the cafe, the musician on the bridge, the maker who first dared to mismatch. Their faces weren't clear, but their stories were. Different voices, same thread. In the morning, she packed the earrings in a velvet pouch, a note that simply said, "We never truly lose the pieces of ourselves we give away," and she mailed them to no one in particular, because maybe, just maybe, the story wasn't over. Maybe it never really ends. And one day, when the world needs the story again, they'll find the next hand, the next heart, the next beginning.